Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, what's on tap for today? Well, we've got another great video. This time, it's Senator Ted Cruz questioning a Biden nominee for a district judgeship, and his name is Michael Delaney. And the reason why this is so important is because Michael Delaney used his power as a lawyer representing a school, and he outed the anonymity of a young female girl at the time, 15 years old, who was sexually assaulted in a prep school, a very prestigious school in New England. Anyways, we're going to get to all of that in the next few seconds. But before we do so, we just want to let you know that you're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. Subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Hit that notification bell. Put your comments down below. Let's get to that video right now of Ted Cruz questioning Michael Delaney.
Mr. Delaney, this hearing's not going well for you. And there's a reason for it. Because as much as you may be concerned that it's not going well for you, it's gone far worse for Chessy Prout. The focus of this discussion began when a 15-year-old freshman was sexually assaulted by a senior as part of a campus custom known as Senior Salute, a game where upperclassmen competed to have sex with younger students. In 2015, the culprit was acquitted of felony rape, but found guilty of misdemeanor sexual assault and endangering the welfare of a child. You've repeatedly said you were just an advocate. You were just representing the school, where the school was St. Paul's, one of the most prestigious boarding schools in America. And yet, in your representation of St. Paul's, it was St. Paul's that was the victim. You portrayed the school that a sitting U.S. Senator, indeed a member of this committee, attended. Former Secretary of State John Kerry attended. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller attended. A member of the Kennedy family and 3 Vanderbilts have attended. And in your view, that school was the victim, not the 15-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted.
That's what always happens with these leftists.
Your response to Senator Hawley was, I was just representing my clients. Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Delaney, you represented your clients very poorly. Because as a lawyer, if your client is a school and they've decided their strategy is to out the girl that was sexually assaulted while in their care and custody, that school is doing a crappy job, and the lawyer who goes in and says, sir, yes, sir, happy to do it, is doing a lousy job representing his client.
Absolutely. I just have to chime in here. This school, prestigious school, St. Paul's, where so many supposedly, politicians have gone to, and other elitists, obviously, because they can attend this very private, very prestigious school called Salute Night or whatever. And so this institution knows that this occurs where upperclassmen try to have sex, and in many cases, sexual assault and rape underclass girls. And this school is doing nothing to protect them. And do you know how many of these have probably never been reported because of the stigma that would be associated, because of the powerful people, the powerful boys that are going to the powerful families of which these boys are attending? And a girl, if this thing happens to her against her will, sexually assaulted, raped by one of these upper class boys, there's a tremendous, this takes tremendous courage and power and money and everything to go after these kids that will prey on these young girls. And so Ted basically is absolutely right by saying that, yeah, you were an advocate, but you didn't have to take this job. You could have basically said, no, I'm not going to do this, or what you're doing is absolutely wrong. I can't continue with this thing here. And this guy's going to be in a position of power at a district level, and other people are going to appear before his court in a similar situation, and he's going to use his power and his authority, the power of the state, to force the anonymity of a young girl that's been sexually assaulted so that she can no longer remain anonymous, to try the court and make sure that her name is out there so she gets doxxed? This is unbelievable.
Just a moment ago, you answered questions from Senator Corner. I actually wrote down a couple of things. Earlier in the day, you acknowledged very kindly that the Prout family, I'm quoting you, the Prout family had a strong interest in anonymity. And then just a moment ago, you answered Senator Corner, I wrote it down again, the school did not file a motion to remove anonymity. Mr. Delaney, that testimony is false. I want to read from the motion you filed that is right here. This is on page 2. The school recognizes that JD has an interest in protecting her anonymity. Now notice you told this committee the Prout family had a strong interest. Oddly enough, the word strong was not in your pleading. You graciously conceded they have an interest. Okay? However, in balancing that interest against the prejudice to the school,
here it comes,
and the public interest in disclosure, the following common sense measures should be taken to mitigate the prejudice to the school, the victim elite private boarding school. The school shall be entitled to identify plaintiffs and JD during discovery. Plaintiffs and JD should not...
What he means by plaintiffs and JD stands for Jane Doe. So this Chessy Prout, who obviously has now been outed by this gentleman, she is at 15 years old, is the young girl that was sexually assaulted and raped. JD for Jane Doe.
Be allowed to proceed under pseudonyms at the trial of the matter. You asked the court, strip her anonymity. And you just told Senator Cornyn, I didn't ask the court to strip her anonymity. Why did you give a false answer to Senator Cornyn?
Senator Cruz, thank you for the question. I did not in any way intend to provide any misleading answers. The section of the brief that you're referencing involves the use of a pseudonym at trial as opposed to at pretrial phases of the case. And I'm not aware of...
And so your view is it's common sense, that's the word you used, that a teenager, the victim of sexual assault, should be stripped of a pseudonym. That's just a common sense step.
No, I'm saying that First Circuit precedent treats the use of fictitious names before a jury at a trial quite differently than it does at pretrial phases.
So Mr. and Mrs. Prout are here today. Thank you for coming. You and your daughter have been victimized now 3 times. First, on that horrific night. Secondly, when Mr. Delaney, representing the school, went into court and tried to strip your daughter's anonymity, tried to out her against her wishes. And third, when the Biden administration chose to reward him by nominating him to the Court of Appeals. I would encourage everyone to read the letter that Chessy Prout has filed. And Mr. Delaney, there is a reason why virtually every Democrat has skipped this hearing. They're embarrassed about this nomination. I want to read one paragraph from this letter and ask you a final question. From Chessy Prout. If Michael Delaney is confirmed, if an attorney who has brazenly intimidated a minor victim of sexual assault is given the distinct privilege to serve as a judge for the United States Court of Appeals, you are telling victims and survivors that you not only approve of victim intimidation tactics, you reward their enactors with one of the highest legal appointments in the state of Massachusetts. She goes on to say she made this point to the Biden Justice Department. Mr. Delaney, if this committee votes to confirm you, what message does that tell every other victim of sexual assault, child victim of sexual assault, if seeking to out them publicly gets rewarded with a judicial nomination?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I have spent nearly 30 years in my legal career, half of that in public service. I have tried...
Okay, this guy now he's just going to be pleading the regular crapola stuff that they talk about. 30 years I've served in public service, and I've done such a great job for everybody, and I've given victims their justice, and I put away the perpetrators of crime. It's all BS. It's all crap. I don't care what your thing was for 30 years. You could have been great for 29 years and 11 months. But if in that 1 month period out of 30 years, you did something that was so egregious, so bad, guess what? That's it. Because you should have known better. You should have known better. And here you are seeking a position of power, and yet you use your ability, your skills, and you came down on exactly the side that leftists, progressives, moderates, Democrats, I mean, you name it, okay? They always come on the side of the people that perpetrate the crime, on the criminal element, on the rapists, on the murderers. They're always seeking to justify what they did and that they should be given leniency. And you don't do a damn thing in terms of giving justice to the victims. In this case, a 15-year-old girl at the time, raped in a school, prestigious, one of the most prestigious private institutions in the United States of America. And you basically said that that school is a victim because this girl wants to be identified as Jane Doe as she goes to trial against her rapist and against a person that committed sexual assault against her. And this is supposedly all alleged, obviously. You got to put the word alleged in there. Anyways, you know what? These people make me sick, and they should make you sick too. These are evil SOBs. These are evil pieces of crap that use their power and do not do anything at all to help victims of crime. They help the people that committed the crime. That's who they're actually helping. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so, first time here, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Put your comments down below. Tell us what you think. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.